Hi, everybody. Sarah Bonner here. I just wanted to kind of update you a few things without having to type a whole long, elaborate email. My specific conversation with you tonight is about upcoming third quarter grade negotiations and the grading conferences that we'll be hosting next week between myself and your child. One of the things I wanted to do tonight is to start off by pointing to our class webpage. As you can see, languagearts301.pbworks.com right up here. Hopefully you've been able to follow along with us throughout the quarter and see all the exciting things that we have been doing, especially with critical media literacy, which is just a big old fancy term for looking at media and the biases in the media and fake news and being skeptical and asking questions and understanding what credible sources are, and kind of the spin that media tends to provide as we engage within it. Down below here on what we call the sidebar in our class, you'll see a whole bunch of different resources that hopefully you've been checking out. One of the resources that I want to specifically talk to you about tonight, again, because we're talking about grading and assessment, is the assessment section. Notice that you'll see that for each unit that we have an assessment feedback tool that will allow students to create their online portfolios and link and submit their assignments as they collect resources to negotiate their progress as a learner. There'll be two actual forms I'll be talking about tonight that you and your child should be familiar with. And I just kind of wanted, as a parent, I wanted to give you some words to help talk to your child about this process if this hasn't already been a topic of discussion. The first one I want to talk about is something that hopefully you've seen before in the past. This is the spreadsheet that we've typically used for the past couple of units. This is in your shared folder that we have created through Google that is shared between me, your child, and you. Notice, as you see on here, students have an opportunity to take their assignments and link them onto here. So kind of that portfolio feel. They can also grade propose, and then also they get to self-assess their learning standards. So they would either be putting M for meets or NTY for not there yet, along where these X's are for each assignment, which is up here. One of the things I want to note about this, as I'm sure you may already know, some assignments have been done in class, meaning they may not be able to be linked. For example, the chapter reading graphic organizer that we completed in class is something that was just paper pencil. And so when it comes to the grading conferences, your child would be bringing that document with them as a piece of evidence, but may not necessarily be able to have it here on their spreadsheet for you to view. I would definitely encourage your child to bring home any type of documents that you would want to be interested in taking a further review about. We keep an in-class folder, in class, obviously, and those materials should be housed in there at all times. In addition, one of the other things I wanted to kind of point out, this section over here where it says feedback, ideas, and questions from me, it may look kind of slim this quarter, and because a lot of the things that we did throughout the quarter were either collaborative, so I was giving collaborative feedback. I did a lot more face-to-face feedback where students are being coached throughout the process of doing something. Or, for example, I'll bring your attention to the synthesis writing, which was individual. You'll see, if you were to click on the link for their actual writing, you'll see a lot of my individual comments that I didn't feel necessary to repeat, cut and paste or whatever into this spreadsheet format. So this may look somewhat thin just because feedback has been given in multiple different directions throughout the nature of this unit, especially. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is that this is a very traditional way that we've been doing it since the beginning of the year in terms of collecting our evidence in order to grade negotiate. But the other thing that I wanted to show you was something that was created out of student suggestion, and I'm going to flip over to this Word document. This is basically the Word document or a Google document version of the spreadsheet. So students this quarter especially have a choice. They can do the spreadsheet just like how they always have done, or they can switch over and take a look at utilizing this Google Doc tool. So one of the things that we talk about quite a lot in this class is the idea of a cook versus a chef. So the cook is definitely, participates when asked, showing progress when necessary, keeps informed with the line, does what needs to be done, and that's about it. But if you think about the qualities of a chef, the chef takes a little bit more time, detail, high quality, seeks feedback, et cetera, et cetera. So we use the idea of what your participation, progress, and performance look like. Was it cook or was it chef? And so down below here, you'll see as students may choose to use this organizer as opposed to the spreadsheet, you'll see that the assignment is listed over here on the far left-hand side. And then you will see all the learning standards associated with that actual assignment. And then students have an opportunity to kind of talk about, well, were they a cook on that one or were they a chef? And then they can talk about why. Students are able to download this document. They can make it their own and put it in that shared folder that you and I both have with each other and your student. If you scroll all the way down to this document, you'll see all the standards and all the assignments. And then down below here, I thought it was really important to include their self-assessment, which is another document in the shared folder itself. And then also where they would be proposing their grades. And then kind of some goal setting. We're going into fourth quarter, which is actually getting closer to high school. What are some things that actual students want to work on throughout this last quarter in English language arts? The last tool that I want to show you tonight is something that will be placed into student folders for you to review, would be my end. So throughout the quarter, I take quite a bit of notes, and I take observational notes, and I collect data on student questioning and learning, and I take a look at the feedback that I've received, the observations that I make in class, and I kind of collect all those together so that I can be ready for my end of the grading conference. So many of you may wonder, well, how does my student negotiate? And they can use those two tools. They can use the spreadsheet and collect all their evidence and think about where they are in terms of their standards and goals, and really think about their participation, progress, and performance as a learner. They can also be using this Google Doc as a preparation of reflection of the assignments that have really we've been tinkering with and really mean something throughout this quarter. And on my end, just to kind of give you a preview, okay, you'll see you'll see a Google Doc hidden, or not, I shouldn't say hidden. You'll see it placed into in the Google folder that we share with one another. I will have the name, I'll have the hours that your child has with me. I will also include the winter map reading scores. That's just something that I think kids should know, but please note that that's just a snapshot of reading, and it's only a factor. It's not anything that makes or breaks any type of grade that happens in this class. Down below, you'll see where I'll be assessing, taking a look at participation, progress, and performance. I'll also give my own input on the standards that I feel that your child is meeting throughout this quarter based on what they have demonstrated. And then also some goals to be thinking about as they move into fourth quarter. And then also I have my own additional notes, like I said, that I have been taking that I formulate into this writing. So it's my belief that we learn a lot from feedback and not just letter grades or numbers. So I spend a lot of time kind of collecting a lot of information for students to really process and to apply towards their next quarter. So again, tonight's video is all about understanding and unpacking how negotiations go. Like I said, these two tools are available on our class webpage. And I appreciate your support. If you have any questions for me, please let me know at any time, and have a good weekend. Thanks.